Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry, and I'm really excited because we have some things happening. It's been a while, so let me take you back to November of 2021. We've been dealing with issues with water deliveries here on our homestead for a number of years. In November, I found this truck. It has a few problems with it, but we bought it. Since we bought the truck, I fixed the driver's side window. I've dealt with the fuel tank. I still have to pressure wash this water tank. It's been sitting for more than a year, which is just too long. It looks rough, but that's okay because our primary reason for having this truck is to bring water for our gardens. Now the wind's blowing, so I'm not going to open the hood up. But underneath that hood, there is a water pump. It's not just any water pump, it's a big truck water pump. Let me show you. There it is. It's a pretty big pump. This pump is different than the pump that's in your car because it gets driven directly off the flywheel of this big truck. Right there. Now there's no problem with that. The problem was this pump leaked. There are two weep holes here in this pump. And what's a weep hole, you wonder? It's to allow water to come out of the water pump when the seal inside the water pump is failing. The problem is that the previous owner blocked those holes up. Well, I know why. At least I know why now. We're going to go inside and we'll talk some more about this. These are the three parts that were destroyed pulling that water pump out of the truck. The real difficult one was this pulley right here. We used a couple of different pullers on it, and we weren't able to pull the pulley off with a special puller that's intended to have bolts threaded into these holes right here. So how did it come off? Well, a friend brought over his heavy-duty acetylene torch and his air hammer, and it took about 15 minutes of hammering on this pulley to get it out. The front cover for the water pump was bent. Now, we could probably straighten that out. Both Irene and I have some good metalworking skills, but looking at it, I decided to go ahead and replace it because I don't want to be taking this pump out again. The real surprise was this water transfer tube. The metal broke right there. Now, the previous owner gooped all kinds of RTV in that area. Think of RTV like silicone. It's messy, it's gooey, it doesn't hold real well against high pressure. This truck is 35 years old, which means it's way at the end of its life expectancy. That means most manufacturers are going to start discontinuing parts for them. Well, fortunately, I was able to find some parts in a new old stock. New old stock simply means that it's an original part, in this case from Cummins, and it is new, but it's also at the same time very old. It hasn't been used, so let's take a look and see how this looks. Well, this looks a whole lot better than that one that broke. Now, the piece that broke was this rim right here, this edge. And there's an O-ring that sits in here to seal this tube into the water pump. Without that O-ring and without this edge being intact, you're going to have leaks. So I have this piece, which is great because it's one of the three parts that I need. This isn't exactly a mail call. These are parts that I ordered and I knew were coming. But it's still nice to get them. Hopefully this is going to be the pulley to replace the one that we had to bend to get out of the truck. Boy, this thing is sealed up tight. Well, I think we'll just see if we can tear it open. We'll see if the pulley is the right one. Pulley looks exactly like the one that came out of the truck. There is some damage on the pulley. It was marred when it was taken out of the previous truck that it was in. The bearing surface looks all right. Hopefully we'll be able to put this in just by applying some heat and sliding it on. Well, that's two of the three pieces that I need to make that truck work. The pulley that I just showed you is reclaimed. It's salvaged. There's nothing the matter with these large metal pieces as long as there's no dings, burrs, or other issues on the pulley itself. And it looks perfectly fine. We'll find out when we go to put it on. I wish it weren't marred up, but, you know, these things happen. So there's really two ways to go about getting, well, maybe three ways to go about getting parts. One is to buy a salvaged part, like this. Another is to buy new old stock, like this one. Or the third part that I have coming in is a front cover for that water pump. And that's a replacement. So it's been manufactured recently. Are we out of the woods yet? No, we're not. I knew that this water pump leaked. I asked the previous owner to replace the water pump and I would pay for it. But I know why they didn't now. That pulley just came off really, really hard. Fortunately, my friend has heavy-duty truck equipment, and he has the air hammer that could push that pulley off once it was heated up. It made a heck of a mess on that pulley. Because there was water in the sump of the truck, I'm pretty sure that happened because the weep holes were blocked. That means that the only place for the water to go is down into the sump through the oil passages. Fortunately, it didn't run for very long in that fashion. When you get water in the oil, it will start looking like pudding, chocolate pudding. The oil is kind of that color. I didn't have any of that in this engine, so I count myself lucky. Well, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we're getting some things happening here. It's been a long time coming. Thanks for watching. We'll talk with you later. Bye. Don't forget to brainstorm.